Hey, just a reminder before we get into the video, I have a fan comic, a He-Man Masters of the Universe fan comic. I've got 6 volumes, 6 graphic novels. These are 1, 2, and 3. I have 4, 5, and 6 available as well. They're graphic novels, each one. A fan story that I come up with years ago and just decided to make, and spent several years doing it and just kind of got out of control. And I just ended up making 6 graphic novels of the whole thing, and I have them available, and if you're interested, hit me up. I also have a sketchbook available, black and white figure drawings, female figures, some adult content in there, just a sketchbook that I put together. And also something I keep forgetting to mention to anybody is that I have copies of this series. It's called Ghost Agents. This is a series, you can Google them and find out who and what they are, but they had me contribute to one of their books, this book, and I did a 6-page, 8-page story. I can't remember what it was. Inside here, it's a beautiful newsprint. I've never thought I'd ever have the opportunity to see my work printed on beautiful newsprint. So there's this short story that I drew, written by our writer Rocco Jerome. This is in here along with several other short stories. It's some pretty incredible stuff, and I have about 5 or 6 copies of these left. I was given a pile of these to be able to sell to people. There's also a backup story of the Metropolis series, if you remember from the movies. Some really incredible artwork in this thing by a lot of other talented people doing a lot of fantastic stuff. These are pretty shockingly interesting, and I have to say that this art reprinted on newsprint looks fabulous, and I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to be part of it. So I still have a few copies of this thing left. So if you're interested in any of these, message me on Instagram, on Facebook, anything, and hit me up, and we'll see about getting you a copy of these things. So that is all I've got for now, so on to the video. Hey, thanks for joining me. I've already looked at this thing at least once. I don't think I've looked at it twice, but it's been a long time since I've flipped this thing open, and I was digging through my boxes, and I actually have 2 copies of this somehow, and just kind of ran over it, flipping through my books and stuff like that. And as usual, because I love Marc Silvestri's work so much, I thought that we'd flip through it again. One of my main things about this that I like the most is right here on the cover. That is a contender for my favorite drawing of Witchblade that Silvestri's ever done. And he's done several that are incredible. I have a different one printed up on it. I've got it on my wall right in front of me. But that one, like, the face is perfect. It's ridiculously sexy with the perfect curves and all that tiny little detail in pencil. Like, I've always kind of wanted to, like, take this and scan it and blow it up and print it out and try and ink it, where I would most definitely fuck it up and ruin it with my crappy inks. But I still want to try it. Just because I know I'm going to screw something up is no reason to not try it. But that's labeled 2003, so it's forever ago. But yeah, this Marc Silvestri sketchbook, there's always interesting stuff in these. And again, I thought I'd just pop it out here and let's take a look. Printed in January of 2004, so to give you an idea of how old this thing is. I love seeing sketchbooks like this. I wish that they would lose a lot of the pretentious bullshit designy stuff and just print the artwork. Just get everything he's ever scribbled and just throw it in here. Like, I don't need a single page dedicated to his initial drawing of Stryker from Cyberforce and then just have all this designy shit all over it. I want more art, less frilly bullshit. That aside, I love seeing this stuff. Yeah, it says right here, man, this takes me back from pretty much the first line down. These were the Cyberforce characters. I was so damn proud of them. I even wrote trademark and copyright Marc Silvestri. He says, the thing I like about Stryker is that the first time most people saw him, they assumed he was a villain, and that's just the effect I was looking for. 4-armed characters have been done to death, but never asymmetrically like this. It's ungangly, but it works for an image that's visually striking. Pun intended. So that's fun. And this has got kind of Silvestri's old school kind of, this was right at the end of this art here, was at the end of his Marvel run, right at the beginning of jumping over to Image, because these are the kind of first sketches of his characters. There's the original drawing of Ripclaw. Again, it's kind of different from how he draws now. It's all good, but something about this older style I just think is just fantastic. I love his figure work again, even in sketches, even in sketch form. And these drawings, these character designs are from early 90s, and this stuff is more modern because, again, this book was printed in 2004, and this book was coming out around there. Evo, it was kind of a book that went nowhere and was nothing. But again, anytime you get these sketches where he's working out designs and just the figures, the faces, love it. Looks really awesome. There was even a flirtation with the Cyberforce animated series, and so here's some, like, what are they? Storyboards and environments that almost made it to air in '96. It was all there, including a line of action figures. It was a big disappointment when the show didn't happen, but it taught me a lot about getting up off the mat to swing again. And he looks at them as now they can be. It's a fun memento of what almost was. I've only seen bits and pieces of that god-awful Wildcats cartoon and the Savage Dragon cartoon. So in a way, maybe it's kind of good that a Cyberforce animated series didn't happen, because it probably would have just kind of cheapened the idea. But maybe it would have been awesome. I don't know. Sketches for a Witchblade statue. You know, you can tell it's kind of a quick sketch. The proportions are not quite like up to Silvestri's like finished art standards, but it's still good stuff. Just seeing rough ideas being worked out, notations on the page. Love that stuff. From that Inferno series that he did like 2 issues of, and it was supposed to be, I think there was like going to be a movie of that comic series, but there was some kind of legal stuff that made everything get stopped and halted, and it never happened. But this is some kind of like structure in hell, and it looks amazing. Looks like a building grown or built upon the top of skulls of monsters or something. And Silvestri does this organic stuff, to my mind, better than anybody. I love all these organic, weird shapes, and then the way he pencils in these clouds and smoke coming up above it. It's so fantastic. Monster from that Inferno idea. Once again, the organic kind of weird horns coming out of him, and then like almost like bones growing out of his flesh. It almost looks like chains and stuff. This tattered rag hanging off him. There's stuff that he does. It's such a organic way of drawing that it's just fantastic, and like no one else has. More characters from that Inferno thing. Man, they really went out of the way to give this girl some giant titties, and I'm not complaining. Characters from that Evo series, just it's kind of standard. If I had to, have something that's kind of negative, a lot of times these villainous like grunt soldiers in a lot of these Top Cow books, and it kind of translates over to a lot of the Image books, are just kind of generic cybernetic creatures with just varying degrees of metal tech on them. And Silvestri makes it look better than anybody else, really. It's great, but it's kind of like, I've seen this a bunch of times. God, that would be a great one to scan and print out and practice inking on. Witchblade, Heart of Darkness, cover sketch. It says, most people assume that's Sarah Pazzini in the Witchblade armor, but it's not. It's Sarah essentially possessed by the darkness power, so she takes on the appearance, sexy domino mask and all, of being one of Jackie's minions, and one of his better-looking minions at that. But being Jackie doesn't suck. So that's interesting. Love this shot. Cover to sketch to Darkness 1/2 with the Angelus. Hot girl with giant wings. Man, he does the wings so well. But this is Silvestri. He does everything well. I always liked this drawing. The darkness there, and just kind of the physical anatomy of the guy first. His arms and the way that they kind of connect to the muscles on the side of his body, and then connecting the lower hips and legs to it. Like, this is just such fantastic figure drawing. And then the kind of silly playfulness of the Angelus riding on his back, those beautiful wings, those big, giant, huge platform lift shoes she's wearing. It's just fantastic. I love that so much. This here character sketch of Stryker. So years later, they what do they do? A revamp of their books and codename Strikeforce. They did a restart of it, and you take Stryker, which goes from kind of ridiculous superhero design. This guy with all the shoulder pads and spandex and ponytails and shit, and just kind of strips him down to be like a guy in like military fatigues or whatever the term is, you know, the clothing and stuff. He's still got 3 arms and cybernetic eye, but instead of being like a clean, shiny, metallic cybernetic component, it's like patchwork little clanky bits assembled together on his face. It looks really neat. I'm not saying I like it better than the original design, but both actually work, especially when it's Silvestri drawing it. More characters. Tia Katana. That's such a great face. She has like these tattoos on her body that she can pull the tattoos off her like magically or something and have them be handheld weapons, pulling the tattoos off her. It's a weird design. It's kind of interesting. And again, I've always been like the biggest fan of Silvestri's faces. Look at how he draws. It's specifically for me, it's all about the way he draws that nose and mouth combination. To me, it's like perfect. It's like too perfect for like realistic human, you know, like facial structure, like most flawless comic book figures you've ever seen, but I love it. Same thing with this girl there, that face and the way she's got her hair pulled back into those pigtails. It's just so good. Love seeing the sketches like that, and those face shots are just great. Continuing on more with the characters, some guy named Lift. This character, Black Anvil. Man, have I never liked that guy. He's a runner-up for dumbest looking character. I'm sorry, I love Silvestri, but this character, I mean, the only character I think that just bugs me more visually is Liefeld's Troll. But this little guy, I get it. He's the strong man of the team, and the gag is that he's short and squat and stocky and super strong rather than being a giant, huge guy. That's clever, but he just looks so goofy. I'm not a fan. Love the evil kind of satanic trains. I mean, how do you come up with this stuff? Like, it's one thing to have good superheroic figure work proportions that you can draw, but to be able to draw a freaking train from hell and then add all this crazy organic looking crazy whatever it is on it, it's just so freaking unbelievably fantastic. More monsters from, this is from the X-Men run he did with Grant Morrison. There was a 4-issue series. I've covered them. Really great stuff. Just more sketching out ideas. The X-Jet, kind of a redesign of the Jean Grey Phoenix outfit. Never going to improve on the original Dark Phoenix costume ever, but when Silvestri's drawing it, it's no matter what it is, it looks pretty good. I absolutely dig this thing. At a glance, it just looks like a scene in a bar. But the more you look at it, it's a whole magical scene. Necromancer bar scene. He says, we have a property in development called Necromancer, which deals with magic, or more accurately, the seamy underbelly of magic. Seems to me, in a world where even lowlifes have some magical abilities, this is what a night out at a bar might look like. And, like, you've got a bottle pouring booze into a cup all on its own. You got little seats here that just float. Guys in the background are playing cards, but they're just levitating in the air. I love how do you come up with this background? It just feels like he's just able to kind of organically fill it. You got this bar, it's kind of in this octagonal shape, and then it comes towards you here, and then you just kind of put in this big blocky column shape and some upper kind of pipes and ducting and stuff like that. It's crazy. Here you got a dude. He's snapping his fingers, lighting the girl's cigarette. God, again, such a great face on that girl. And then the guys are playing pool, but the pool balls all float in the air. And it says, conjure responsibly. I think that's funny. It's just such a fantastic drawing. You know, everything about it just looks so cool. And I don't know, this always kind of occurs to me at weird random times, but I wonder where this original art is. Does Silvestri still have it? Did he sell it? Is it sitting in a pile of just great artwork? What a great one to own. This would be fantastic. A really interesting kind of unique one-off to have. Um, and then this was a sneak peek. Again, this was, what did I say, 2004? Yeah. Code name, Strikeforce, or just Strikeforce. And I'm pretty certain. God, they don't say. I'm pretty sure this is Tyler Kirkham art. But it doesn't say. And it kind of chaps my ass. It's like, the thing that's kind of unfortunate is every artist has to start somewhere. And Tyler Kirkham, I'm pretty certain this is his first gig, or if not his first gig, one of his earliest, like the first thing for Top Cow. Compared to the sketches of the characters here, the stuff in this black and white preview, it's just kind of not even close. You know, and I'm sure the artist would agree. He's like, yeah, I'm not Silvestri. I'm doing the best I can. And it looks like he's really putting in all kinds of effort. Like he's really talented and he's really, really good today. But it's not Silvestri. And so I did pick up an issue or two of it and I was not kind of interested. I didn't find it that interesting, unfortunately, but that's okay. Not everything has to be brilliant. Anyway, just a kind of a quick flip through of a sketchbook. I wish there was more in there. Like I said, they can get rid of all that designy element shit and just cram it full of sketches and stuff. Just anything, you know. I'll take anything that we can get from Silvestri. But that cover, that Witchblade shot is just one of the best. It's just one of my favorite. Fantastic. Anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time.